Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. We are continuing our video build series of the CLC Passagemaker Dingy. This is the take apart version. We left off last video with needing to put on both the aft and the forward transoms. So we got lots to do, so let's get at it. All right, so first off, you can see my handiwork here. So there was a pretty big gap right here, and I could not squeeze it together and tighten this wire down. I couldn't figure out a way, so what I ended up doing is using 3 zip ties here to tighten this up between this wire and this wire, and then go ahead and tighten this guy down. So now I'll have to come back and do both these 2 wires here, and then hopefully when I cut the when I cut the zip ties here, it won't spring apart too bad. So let me get going on that, and then hopefully we can start. I've got the front bulkhead. I figured I'd go ahead and start on the front bulkhead first. I did pick up some new clamps. I was hoping I could get underneath here and find a spot to clamp on to get this squeezed together, but I really couldn't find a spot to clamp it together, and then running a rope or a strap around the whole outside, then that just brought in the top sides here without doing anything down here to the bottom. So let me go ahead and get you set up, and we'll start working on this. I want to make sure I get this good and tight down here before I start wiring in wiring in the front forward transom. All right, so I've got this just about as tight as I can get it without risk breaking it. I've already broke one wire trying to tighten this down. So let's go ahead and see if what happens when I cut this. I know it's just going to spring apart, but we certainly can't put the forward transom in with this here. So let me see if I can get a good angle on this and see how much it separates. Well, not too bad. It's a little bit, but it's certainly better than it was. Let's see if we get this other one. Yeah, it's still, jeez. What the heck is wrong here? This makes no sense. All right, well, we're going to just have to go ahead and put in the forward transom like it is and go from there, I guess. And then hopefully we can make up enough filler to fill in the gap. All right, so let me see what kind of what this looks like. All right, so I got a pretty good size. So this has got to come all the way like this. So on these transom, there's only one hole in the back. Oops. So there. Jeez. So there's only one hole on the back that goes through the one hole in the transom. So I guess my best bet is to, so it comes up through the hole, up onto the back side of the transom, through this hole, and then back down is the way I'm looking at it. But hold on, what the heck? Well, this isn't right. Oh, good grief. Where is good grief when you need them? Well, I don't know. Hopefully you can see it on the video. But this opening down here isn't wide enough for this front board. It sticks up almost, geez, at least 3/8 of an inch there. And I don't think it's supposed to do that. Does this go on the outside? No, it can't go on the outside. And there's well, it looks like I'm going to have to widen up this this gap here a little bit in order to get it to fit across this board. Well, how many others are like that? I guess I can. See, that one's got plenty of room. That one looks okay. That one might be a little bit tight. Yeah, so I think, and the other problem is Well, yeah, I guess I do have some epoxy on here that might be helping making it worse a little bit. But problem is that they've rounded these over, and this is more of a square edge too. So maybe I just need to square these up a little bit with a file or something, and then give it another fit. So let me pause here. What a mess! What a mess! Yeah, hopefully once I do get this in here, I'll be able to tighten these up. I don't know. Yeah, let me pause here and figure out what's next. All right, that's a lot closer now. So I used rotary tool and a little bit of sandpaper to just ease that edge back on both of these a little bit. So now at least at least for the bottom, it looks like it's going to be nice tight fit once I get it, if I can get it wired in there. So I did have to on these bottom ones. It's kind of weird too that I had to drill through. So I had to drill through the doubler here to get those holes. It's kind of weird that they don't mention that, but that's what I did anyways. So let me see if I can get this wired up without too much difficulty. I'm putting them in the bottom holes here first. I'm trying to get them in. Jeez. Let's pull this one through a little bit more. There we go. All right, let me see if I can get some more of these. Again, see now the problem here is we've got a pretty big gap here, and sure enough, there's probably about a 1/4 inch difference between the hole here and the hole here. So hopefully, when I get these in and can tighten them down, it brings that gap in. That's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle royale, I think. Well, heck. All of these are off. If I bring it that way, maybe I need to start at the top and work my way down. Maybe that's the problem. Let's try that. Alrighty then, so I did get this side over here quite a bit closer actually, so the gap's a lot smaller. And the way I did that is I've got these two new clamps. They've got real big feet on them, and I was able to clamp those down really hard on either side, and then put this this clamp across two of them to bring the sides in together. It's about the best way I could think of to get this to work. And then the other thing I need to do is make sure I've got a clean piece of copper that hasn't been used and been work hardened or anything already, and then bend it in such a way that the I've got the exact space I need right here, and then a little bit longer on this side so I can bring it around and bring it around this way because I want the knot to be right on this edge here. I hope you can see that because I'm not doing this again. Yeah, let's get this in here. I hope that shows up on camera, but that's right where I want the knot to be, so that we're pulling most of the tension this way against this guy. Get it started here. Alright, that seems about as tight as we're going to get it without breaking that wire. So let's see what happens here. Alright, that looks good. Alright, let me get this off. There's still quite a bit of a gap there, but I don't think it's going to get much better than that. To be honest with you, this look down the whole length of the hull, and this these number 1 planks on going into the bottom hull here part is not lining up very good along most of it. Not really sure why that is. Hopefully, when we get it the transoms on and get it turned over, then we can tighten that up. I hope maybe different pressure on it from a different direction or something helps. I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna have the transom's gonna have to wait for another day or two because the frustration level is pretty high right now. So we'll pause here and be back another day. Alrighty then, it's another day out here working on the Passagemaker dinghy, and so I thought I'd give this front bulkhead another shot. One of the things that I've realized is because the angle is pretty severe, it's just loosely sitting in there now, but you can see how much the angle to the planks are here, and you can even see it right here where this really kind of needs to be, angled off this way a little bit to get a solid fit there. But and on the other side here, on these sides, we might be able to see it, but I've relieved these corners and given them a bit of a relief on the angles all the way along. So now I've got the bottoms just loosely wired in, and now I think I'm going to try starting at the top and then working my way down. So let's see how that goes. Alrighty. Best way to seem to pre-bend these wires is a little bit like this, so that you can go one way and the other way and get as much straight, and then as you're getting in, you can straighten it out. Seems like that's the best way to get most of them in without work hardening that coppers to keep it from breaking later on. I'm just getting the wires in place. I'm not even trying to tighten them down. I just want to get them all in place and then see how they see if we can tighten them down in the right order. Yep, this crossover is definitely the way to start it out. And as you feed it in, then you can straighten it out. Hopefully, I'll get a good chance to show you this close up here. Let me just get these in, and then we'll see if we can get these tightened up. All right, I got all the stitching in place. Let's see what we're looking like here. Yeah, I think this. Well, I know that this bow transom needs to sit on top of that plank, not in front of it. That's right on the edge now. And these top ones. Let's see if we can start with them. All right, we're getting closer anyways. And that's what happens when you work hard in the copper. It breaks. All right, now I'm going to start here at the bottom. So what seems to be happening, wanting to happen, is that the transom wants to come forward, and I think that's a lot of that's because of the angles I talked about earlier, where they've trimmed it so that it's perpendicular edges when really it wants to be canted one way. And I think that's a lot what's happening down here is that it's straight and it really needs to be angled and feathered back. So I think that's what's happening here. But I think if I get this in place and then crank down on these bottom two wires, we can tighten that down enough so it won't move, and then we'll start working our way back out again. And I might be able to use some long clamps here to help us with that. We'll see. All right, and I broke another copper wire, and this one was the one of the ones that we had difficulty with first off, but it looks like it's at least holding most of it in place now. So I think for this thinking about it, I think for this transom, I think they should have had a step up in the gauge wire, because I think that there's enough force needed to get this sitting right in the first place that it needs a little bit heavier gauge and something that you can really tighten down pretty good. Now, because the transom's sitting right over that hole, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get a wire back in there. Classic. Absolutely classic. There we go. Good grief. Alright, if these copper wires keep breaking, I got one more trick up my sleeve. I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and run out of copper wire and have to switch to something else anyways. Alright, well that doesn't look half bad. I've got a few gaps here and there, but for the most part, it's looking pretty good, I think. If the copper wire doesn't stop breaking, let me give you a little bit closer look here. Yeah, you can see that that joint right there looks pretty good. I think that's all right. And then come down here. Oh, there we go. And a little bit of a gap there. And coming around, we're looking good. This even the bottom here, this looks like this is staying okay. Pretty good size gap right there where I relieved the transom a little bit there. And doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of a gap right there coming up. Yep, not too bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause here, and we'll get working on the aft transom. That ought to be fun. All right, so the not a lot of room back here at the aft transom, and also the lighting's not that good, so I'm not sure how much I'll be able to show of this. But anyways, I've got copper wire in both sides at the top, and that's to make sure that we keep this this spot right here secure. I hope is a good spot for it. And then I've put this clamp in the middle to pull up the bottom down here, and I've just got two wires loose there on both sides of that clamp, and then over here is the other one. This oops, let me get out there. This seems to want to pull a little bit more forward, but the good thing about it is that the rake of it, the angle of it isn't quite as severe as it is at the bow. So I think that's a little will help us out quite a bit here. And the rest of the fit, yeah, the rest of the fit doesn't look too bad along here. So I think I don't have to make any modifications to the transom, and to be honest, I don't think I would, even if it was off. And the reason is if we look at the forward transom from here, you can see the well, you might be able to see the all of the gaps around on this side. Again, I think it's a lot because it's it's tilted this way, and I expect that we'll be putting in epoxy in around this edge here anyways. So I think as long as it's mostly straight and mostly secure, I think we're good enough. So yeah, let me see if I can get you set up back here and see if we can show putting in this aft transom. I'm just putting in the wires before I tighten. I haven't really tightened any of them down. I've just got them kind of in as placeholders until I get all of them in, and then I'll go back and tighten them all down. I think that might be the way to go on this aft transom. All right, all the wires are in, so let me come back now and start tightening them up. See if we can get this aft transom to behave. All right, moment of truth. Let's take these clamps off and see what we got here. Not too bad, not too bad. I am noticing this bulkhead wants to move forward because of the angle again. I think one of the things that if I did this different would be to put a little bit of a camber on the edge of this aft bulkhead so that it would sit more flush to flush instead of edge on. But we should be okay. To be honest, I think we'll see how it goes when we go to tighten it up. But I think I might be drilling some more holes and putting in some more some more copper wires in some strategic places. I probably should have, especially up on the corners on both sides here. I should have. I think I should have done some work there, because it's not wanting to fit there very well. That's all right. That's all right. All right. Let me see. Check the manual and see what's next. Yep. So all right. So the next step is to flip this darn thing over. You know, I've seen some YouTube channels, they just snap their fingers and it gets turned, you know, whatever they need to do gets happened. I don't know if I've got that power of my YouTube channel yet. Let's see here. All right, well, I mean, I could probably, I might be able to do it. All right, let's just give my thoughts. All right, I guess it's some magic elves come around or something and do it. All right, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! It did! It worked! Aha! Woohoo! I have the power! Alright then, I put it on some lower sawhorses that I had here, front and back, and I think that the whole thing here is to keep this bow symmetrical. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll take some measurements on it. I don't know. I don't have that good of an eye for, is that symmetrical or not. It looks it to me, but we'll see when we have to, once we're done tightening up all of the wires is what our next step is supposed to be. If you remember that amidships bulkhead was standing proud a little bit, and I had put some clamps on it, and then I decided to just leave the clamps off until it was time to do some tightening. But now I've got them back on, and you can see not sure. I think that's why I didn't tighten, or didn't even do anything with the wires that hold that amidships bulkhead in. So now we've got quite a bit of tightening to do here, and then on the back here I've got the same styled sawhorse, and the transom is hopefully you can see this. The transom is sitting right in the groove on top of that sawhorse. When I go to do if I have to go to do anything up here, I think one of the steps is to put fiberglass over the bottom here. When we do that, then I'll lower the boat down by putting the transoms so that they're resting on here, and that should at least allow me to reach mostly across the top. Well, anyways, that's enough. It's enough fun for one day, so we'll call it a day here, and be back out tomorrow to get going on tightening up these millions and millions of wires. Alrighty then, it's another day out here in the shed working on the Passagemaker dinghy, and so today is the day I need to just buckle down and tighten up all of the stitching. I think the way I'm going to try to do it, and of course here in the middle, if you remember right, I was having problems with this middle bulkhead, and looking at it, I didn't wire it in, so we'll go ahead and I'm going to start here in the middle, and then do maybe the first 3 or 4 here right in the middle. And then I'm going to switch to the other side and try to make sure I'm going back and forth between the sides and along one side. So I'll probably I'll start in the middle here on both sides, and then maybe I'll work my way either forward or aft, and go tighten them down. Now, this will be easier as long as I don't break any of these wires. But the problem is it's pretty difficult to see how much you need to tighten these down, and they don't really give you any guidance. I mean, it's kind of easy to see where the boat's flipped over, where you can see gaps between the planks, but with it like this, it's kind of hard to see. You know, am I tight here? Do I need to loosen it up, or do I need to tighten it up, or you know, it's I don't know. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Hopefully it'll go pretty easy, and we'll be done with this today, I hope. Alrighty then, I started working on this center section here and got down to this wire that holds in the center bulkhead, and I went through 2 copper wires breaking before I finally went and dug out this the stainless steel lock wire 0.041. Looks like it's about the same thickness as the copper wire that they give you, but it's certainly more stiffer, a little bit harder to work with, but it will not break. At least not as easy as the copper wire. So I got one there and then another one down here. The other thing is, so now that I've got the boat up like this, I've got my little stools so I can come in here, and what I've been doing is come and tighten them down and checking them to see how tight they are. And you know, even if there's this gap here, if that wire is as tight as it can go within reason, then I'm not going to worry about this gap, because I'm pretty sure it'll get filled in later on. So yeah, I think that's about the best I can do. I've already done one on each side of this guy, so it's this one here. So these are all looking nice and tight, and then I can look at the gaps here. And well, this gap looks a little bit big. It's probably not that bad. So I think I'll keep, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the other side. We may have to leave these clamps in here until we get to the point where we fill in and glue this bulkhead into the side of the boat. But we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I'll pause here. I'll keep on the grind, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, I was doing pretty good. I got the center bulkhead, the rest of those done without breaking any wires. But then I get up here to the take apart bulkhead, and on this side here, yep, I broke those wires out. Now, if you remember, let's go underneath here. Hopefully we can see this. So it's this hole right here, but you remember the hole on the other side here is covered by the take apart bulkhead. So the only way I could see that I might be able to snake a wire through there would be to take the whole thing out. And we're not doing that. So I think what I'm going to do is get my rotary tool, and we'll go ahead and drill through this side to make sure that this one right here goes all the way through, including the other side of this bulkhead. Hopefully we'll come out around that hole there, and then I'm going to drill another hole through this plank right about there. Hopefully, because I don't know if I can get my rotary tool in here to do it, or if I'm going to have to do it blind from the other side. So let me get you set up, and this ought to be a lot of fun. So we'll get that hole drilled and see how it goes. All right, and looks like we'll be able to get most of it from here. So let's see how, or get all of it from here. Let's see if we can get this. Hopefully this drill bit's almost long enough. Let's see how it goes. Came out a little bit up on the other side. Alright, now this is the one that's... Alright, that might work. Let me get some stainless steel safety wire here. Alright, just check the camera. Must have got joggled or something there. I'm not sure how much of that you saw. Anyways, alright, so we got the... I got the wire through both sides. Now it's just going to be a matter of trying to get this in there. All right, good deal. Now I just need to let's tighten it up and see if we can pull that. You can see there's a pretty good gap right there too. Pulled a little bit tighter. There's a pretty good gap there. It's about as good as that one's going to get. All right, good. I'll just keep keep working away here. It's starting to get a little warm out here. Not sure how much farther we're going to get today. All right then, so I've got the front half of the boat done, and what I've done is I've gone along and went back, and as I've gotten these tighter, I've moved the ends off the side here. So the next, after we get the rest of the boat done, the next step is to come and put thickened epoxy in here along all of these seams. They say to just do like a 2-inch run along all the seams here. So that's why I'm moving the pieces off of the way as I get them done. If we come under here and look, you can see here the seams have tightened up, especially, remember this is one of the ones I was having problems with, so really the only spot that it's really still open a little bit here is at the end, and the rest of the seams are looking pretty good from underneath here. I'm pretty surprised at how well they all tightened up. Might be kind of hard to see on camera here. And then here's the take apart bulkhead. And back on the other side. See, we still got a pretty good gap along there. But I'm not too worried about it, because we're going to be filling this all in with thickened epoxy. And I think this is, I think this inside gets filled with the epoxy thickened with wood flour. So the rest of these seams in here are looking really good. Yep, so it's time to go ahead and I'll get the back half here finished up and today, and then we'll figure out what the next step is from there. All right, then the boat's all tightened up. All the wires are all cinched up pretty good. We're not looking too bad. I didn't have any other major mishaps finishing the back end, so we're looking good there. The next step is to do some epoxying, but that's going to have to wait for the next episode. So we'll get going on the epoxy in here. It's probably going to take me a couple days. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.